I believe we are live once again for another Purge of the BS, a very special edition tonight. I had to bring on a very special guest tonight because I wanted to have a really good conversation, because I think a conversation is not being had. I think we might be missing out on a hidden gem that's known as the WNFC. From the Washington Prodigy, we have Coach Floyd, also known as Coach Red, joining us for the evening to have a discussion about the league of their own that has been growing right under our noses. Let's have a real conversation. Let's welcome Coach Red to the stage over here. Everybody give an applause, please.
Good evening, good evening,
All right,
good evening.
All right. Look, I'm not going to keep you all night. I know you're busy. You just got off the field. I'm going to just kind of dive right in. Is that okay with you?
Let's get to it.
Well, so for people that are brand new to this whole idea of the WNFC, like, what is the WNFC? I mean, what kind of football are we talking here?
So it's the Women's National Football Conference. Smash mouth football. You got helmets, shoulder pads, NCAA rules, and you got women that just want to play football. They want to take somebody's head off, just like any other sport. The competitive nature of the game, the women that come out to play, and it's something that you won't forget or you don't want to miss once you come out to a game. I can promise you that.
And just to get some background on it, how long has the Washington Prodigy been a national football team?
I believe this is the 8th year. I'm rolling in on the back end, coaching for the running backs. So I believe this is the 8th year for the Washington Prodigy. Last year was their first undefeated season. Went all the way to the championship to play against Texas, and we ended up coming up short, 21-19. Which, you know, when you come up short that low of a deficit or that close of a game, it hurts a little bit more. It's like,
that one
maybe
play,
right? That one play, one play, or the team just didn't show up. But one of the most viewed games of the WNFC was the championship game, and it was a beautiful experience.
I think it was on ESPN2, right?
ESPN2. Also, they live streamed it on Victory Plus.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so is that the first time they've done that, or do they do that for all the championship games?
I believe for this one, this was the first time it was live streamed on ESPN2. And the Victory Plus is the standard where it gets streamed. It's a free app that you can download. You can stream the games on it live, and it's across the United States that the games are covered. It's kind of like having the NFL package. You can go watch each different state that you're in that has a registered team. Compete.
It sounds like you're a little hoarse. Were you yelling at the running backs?
It's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Okay.
We just had a game against New Jersey on Saturday, so I'm regaining my voice from that. And then this weather is getting crazy, and I got a naturally raspy voice, so it doesn't help. The yelling doesn't help the voice.
How did you end up getting into the WNFC? Did you just stumble onto a field one day, or was that something that was a passion you were already working on?
So I played full contact football for the WFA, the Washington Football Alliance, with the DC Divas for 8 years. I was a running back for them. Coach Lamont Jordan, former NFL player, is the head coach. And when he got the opportunity to be the head coach for Washington Prodigy, first thing he did was call me up and says, "Hey, I need a running back coach. What you trying to do?" And I was like, "Well, I'm coaching for George Mason right now. So if I can balance the schedule of coaching for George Mason and coaching for Prodigy, absolutely. Let me check with my husband real quick." I got the green light, and that was all she wrote. So I've been at it for 2 years now.
You guys are working with a really high quality level. I decided to check out a few clips, and I wanted to share one with the audience real quick.
You don't know what you don't know.
Right. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you're missing, especially if you haven't had a chance to sample it. So I wanted to make sure that people got a chance to sample it.
That's one of my running backs, Mimi, 7-year veteran.
Who's that, Jerome Bettis? She was running
like the bus. That's Keena Samuels.
Okay.
That's Keena Samuels. Yeah, that's another running back. That was the play right there that killed it.
Oh, wow. That pick right there was nice, though. Was that a pick, or that was a catch?
That one was double coverage, a catch. Yeah, that one was a double coverage catch. Q-tip's good for going up for those.
So you still have all of the same members of the team from year to year, or do you change rosters every year, like totally overhaul, or you just add one or two pieces?
We add one or two pieces. We get some depth in more positions. You know, you got to imagine most of these women, when they start playing ball, some of them are starting in their mid to late 20s.
Right.
And they're playing for 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Some people never played football before, but the sport is taxing on the body. It's not just this. It's like, this is not all these women do. They have full-time jobs. You got police officers, you know, first responders, you got teachers, engineers. So you go from working, we got a couple of wee-woos, like I like to call them, first responders that, like Keena Samuels, she's a police officer. So she works a 12-hour shift sometimes, gets a nap in, and now she got to come to practice.
Wow.
So occasionally,
sounds tough. And if you want to play sport well, you do have to be dedicated to it. So I gotta respect it. So let me ask you a couple more probing questions. I gotta ask you the hard. How do you prepare yourself to go from flag into a tackle situation? Because it's kind. I mean, there is contact between both, but it's a different type.
It's a very difficult transition. It's difficult because you can't tackle, so your natural thing to just reach for a flag, to grab the flag. If you're a defensive player,
right,
you have to condition yourself to get your body angle to go through somebody to tackle them. When you're in flag, you have full line of sight of the field.
Right.
When you're in tackle football, now you have your helmet that kind of eats up your peripheral vision. You also have shoulder pads on now. So the reach that you usually would be able to get, full extension, can you kind of get there if you work your way around it? Yeah, you could. Yeah.
What's the hardest part about being a woman in football, like that people might not want to say? You know, just between us and the internet.
Just between us and the internet.
Yeah.
The hardest part is support, and the lack of pay. We're gonna rip the Band-Aid off on that one.
Okay.
The support, you know, you like you said, it's starting to catch. We had a great fan base on the last home game against Texas. It's very rare that you have brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, even spouses sometimes, kids showing up to the games to support. Because it's a pay-to-play league, sponsorship. Most of these players have to go out and get somebody to sponsor their player fees, which could be anywhere from $900 to possibly $1,500 a season, because you pay for your own helmet, you pay for your own shoulder pads, you own all of it. So calling up my family like, hey, come out. Now I'm calling you to support the home team financially by, you know, $15, $20 tickets. So, and you can't tell people what to spend their money on. I'm a firm believer on that.
Cool.
But it is kind of disheartening. It's 3 home games in the season. You can't spend 3 Saturdays out of the year to come for a kickoff, watch some football, grab a hot dog, grab a cheeseburger, and just watch some Smash Mouth football.
You mentioned last year's championship was aired on ESPN2. How did you guys snag that kind of support if we're not getting local support?
Odessa Jenkins puts in a lot of work to make sure that the league and women's football is put on a platform to be watched. We are women that want to play football against other women. We want to compete against other women. We just want to play football. For all the girls that grew up with older brothers that, played football and pick up football, and the ones that didn't have older brothers, they just had friends and they just want to play ball. Created a league for that. And as you can tell, it ain't powder puff. These women have some hits that'll make you go, ooh, or some catches and some runs that will really have you on the edge of your seat. And it's really competitive. Adidas sponsors the entire league. So I've had to switch out of my Nike and my Under Armour, and I can only wear Adidas on the field. Okay. So there's big sponsors for the whole league. And then each team is responsible for getting as much sponsorship to help the team offset the travel costs and the player fees. It's
a true pay-to-play kind of situation. When you're making decisions as a coach as to who gets to stay in, who has to come out, are you dealing with the fact that, such and such paid their money and You want them to get as much playing time as the other person. Do you ever run into those conflicts?
Oh, that's the biggest conflict. You got to put in the work, right? Life, life happens. People have kids, people work schedules, you're tired, whatever. When you step on that football field, you got to lock in. And I'm a firm believer in making sure you're safe. If you don't know what your alignment, assignment, and technique is when you get on that football field, as far as a running back goes, you're a detriment to your quarterback, you're a detriment to the line, and anybody else that's lead blocking for you. You end up colliding with somebody, you step on an ankle, you run into the back. So we only have a small travel roster. So it breaks my heart sometimes when I'm like, I can only rock with these two fullbacks and these two halfbacks, and the other ones, it does go from what you put in, what I see, what you give me in practice, and what you put out the game before. Can I trust you to do your job?
But it doesn't come down to the money situation. Let's say you've got, you got an all-star running back, and then you got a secondary running back who's not as good as the first. And the second running back wants to play as much as the first running back. Do you have to balance that, or is it an understanding that, look, we're just trying to win this game, and whoever's best on the field is best on the field?
I have to balance it, and then I don't have the ultimate decision as a running back coach. I give my recommendations of who I want, how my depth chart works. At the end of the day, the head coach wants what the head coach wants, and he wants to win. So whatever that looks like for him, I got to rock with it. But those conversations are tough to have. And people aren't just out here throwing money at women's pro football. You signed up for this sport. Yes, it's a heavy undertaking. But you have from training camp, actually the last day of tryouts, to the beginning of the season to pay it. So $50 here, $100 here, $25 here. Pay up your player fees up until the season begins, and then, okay, let's talk. Yeah.
Wow. It's that serious? It's that serious?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's got to be a lot to balance, though, in the midst of, trying to play and win a game. So how do you deal with the balance of being, a coach and making sure that you're handling the business side of things and coaching, but also being kind of a friend to the players? Everybody's around, similar age to yourself, so they're kind of like your peers. How do you balance that without ending up in a lot of conflict off the field?
You have the uncomfortable conversation that I am your coach on the field and I'm your friend off the field. When we talk football, we're talking specifically football. What you show me on the field is what I'm going to go with. And you can be pissed mad at me on the field all you want to. That's cool. After the game is over, we're going to toast up, we're going to drink, we're going to laugh, joke about it, and keep it moving. But if my friendship is jeopardized based off of me being a coach, then at that point, I feel used as a coach, and you're not after a friendship. Soon as we touch the football field, it's Coach Red, it's, T. Smith, Rocky, Keno, whatever name, the players have. And it's all respect. I've been blessed to have these women as running back, and we check each other. I give that flexibility for them to be like, hey man, I know there was one time I kind of went off into the right. I wasn't having a good mental health day, and I took accountability for that. I should have checked myself. My apologies. And after that, everything was cool. What
other things do you think would be the best things for folks to know that are setbacks to the league right now?
I need you to believe. I need you to come to believe it when you see it. Come out and try it. Not separating family, NFL support. You guys are in training camps right now. There should be no reason why there isn't a pivot to saying women's pro football.
It seems like it shouldn't be that tough because people do like football. A lot of folks don't even know that women have contact football. There was the lingerie football league. They put a little bit more promotion behind the LFL, and now that they actually have a real football league, they don't want to talk about it. So I'm wondering.
This is why they don't want to talk about it. Sex sells, right?
It does.
So to see women in boy shorts with their cakes out, lacrosse shoulder pads, and a hockey helmet running around on the field is more appealing to the eye than one could think, oh, they're in shoulder pads and helmets it's not a sexy thought. Also, the misconception that you have to be part of the LGBTQ community in order to play football. So a lot of people might not support it for that reason, which, contrary to popular belief, there are a lot of straight women that play this sport. So getting rid of that desire to see it more glamorous and sexualized, this is about football. Look at it for what it is. It's about football. The woman part is the only thing that separates it. But you got to make it, it's got to be, in the lack of a better words, it's got to be sexier to people in order for them to want to see it. And that's the God honest truth about it, which is unfortunate. It's not NFL. We have jobs, right? So I get off of work at 5 o'clock. I got to be at the field by 7. We practice 7 to 9:30, Tuesday, Thursday nights. And I'm not getting home until 10:30 because sometimes I have meetings with the coaches or the players want to talk a little bit longer. If you put the work in to train and condition yourself, study your craft, farm your own land, when you get on the field, the only thing that your coach has to do is put you in and tweak what he needs you to execute. All I got to do is teach you how to move, do your alignment and assignment and technique. But if you're already an athlete, that's a great day for me.
Yeah, just
put you in the right spot.
Yeah. So do you find that there's mostly just athletes needing to do something with their athleticism, or people who are looking to try to stay in shape?
We've got a couple of young ladies that have never played football a day in their life, and those are my favorite.
And they decided to play tackle football. They
decided to play full contact tackle football.
Okay, all right.
And to mold somebody that has no previous coaching, I don't got to undo anything. I just tell you, this is your alignment, your assignment technique. Let me see how you can do it. That was good, but I need just a little bit more of this from you. I need just a little bit more of that from you. And then you put them in the game and you watch them cook. Okay. So we got soccer players, basketball, a rugby player, and most of the women on Prodigy, they still play flag football in the off season to keep themselves athletic and keep themselves running and not sitting and getting stagnant.
This might be the best thing that ever happened to football. The Washington Prodigy.
That's my guy right there.
Is crazy. And they got a quarter.
Shouts to Uptown Ham, by the way, aka Ham Sandwich on YouTube. By the way,
sandwich.
Then we pan to number 2. She look like she played for LSU right now, just off the drip. She come off, catch a little slant. Now peep the timing too. The ball is in the air before she even turn her head. To make matters worse, for some reason, I thought they was about to go back to her just by her alignment.
Man, pretty blurred.
All I see is her running wide open for an easy blur. I ain't gonna lie, the atmosphere at this game was literally crazy. They come back, they dumped the ball off to the running back. And I don't know if she was watching Tavon Austin highlights before the game or Saquon Barkley, but she just getting out of there. Broke one tackle and all I saw was a 4-3.
You guys are all over the nation. You got about 16 teams in your particular league, and you said there's the WFA as well?
Yeah, the Washington Football Alliance. My first opportunity to play women's pro football was with the now owner, Rich Daniels, who owns the DC Divas. The DC Divas was the first team that I played for. Without the WFA, I wouldn't be able to be among a group of elite women. And when I'm saying every single woman that has touched that football field, whether they were able to play one season or not, I am a part of a group of elite women that get to say that I played women's professional football. My children got to watch me play football all the way down to the youngest. Not a lot of women can say that. I wish a lot more women would be able to say that. Without knowing anything, I can teach somebody from not knowing anything for football to being a running back by the time the season starts. And I only have 3.5, maybe 4 months to do it.
What's your football identity for the team? Do you guys have a certain, relentless or whatever, certain phrase or something that you guys use?
Well, we're going to run the ball down their throat. And when we got tired of doing that, we're going to pass it over their heads. That's it. And that's all.
Straightforward. Pretty straightforward. So which position group is the hardest one to actually, coach? in your opinion?
In my opinion, I'm gonna give it to the O-line. I'm gonna give it to the
O-line is the
O-line.
hardest to coach because they have to be in sync, basically.
They have to be in sync, and it's a lot of ask, right? O-line also has to take on between understanding whether or not the quarterback is going to take a 3-step drop or a 5-step drop. The pass protection, whether it's the forward down lineman and the mic on the play side or the backside, weak side. Each and every one of those linemen are cued in on what their responsibilities are when there is or isn't somebody there. Running backs also is a difficult position. I have to teach them how to pre-snap read. Look at what the tendencies of the linebackers are doing. After you make your first decision, what's that secondary level decision look like? Is the quarterback taking a 3-step drop or a 5-step drop? What side of the line is the strongest? Is the left side stronger than the right side? Watch the O-line tendencies. If your assignment doesn't show, are we inserting ourselves in the line? How deep are you going to go? Stay out of the pocket. All those things.
That's a lot.
Footwork.
This is a lot.
Yeah.
This is a lot of information. Like, I'm learning, and you're talking, and I know football really well. And half the stuff you're saying, I don't even know what you're saying.
Yes, I'm very meticulous in how I do things.
So do you think that women's football in general is just judged by a different standard than men's football, or it's just because they took out the sexualization element that they had with the lingerie thing?
Women's basketball didn't really take off until you got a little bit of controversy leading into it. They don't take women's sports seriously in general because it's not as competitive or the level of which they watch men. It's always comparing. When somebody asks, you played football, I bet you couldn't run past me. I bet you I could tackle you. Bruh, I am 5'2", 160. I hope you could. Like, that is not something that you need.
Not a flex.
You need to say it's not a flex. That's not a flex. What they miss out on is assuming that there's not going to be any excitement, assuming that there's no competition. Until you go and actually watch it, even if you watch it on TV, you're not going to know what's on the field. The second thing is drama. They want it, but they don't. Right? They kind of want to see a little scrapple, a little, here and there, but they don't want the drama. They don't want it. This is not seen. This is why women shouldn't have these sports, because all they do is bicker and fight. Do you know how many men done elbow checked an eyeball?
Yeah.
Controlled violence is what football is. Somebody said, how would you like to hit someone as hard as you possibly could within 3 to 4 seconds and you won't go to jail for it? Hello?
Sounds good.
Tell me you would say no to that.
I wouldn't say no to that.
It's controlled violence. So you're taking human emotions and you're expecting them not to have a reaction to something that happened. Your daughter, your niece, your cousin, your sister, your mother is an athlete. She used to run track when she was in high school. She had kids and now she wants to do something. Why not support that? She was an all-star basketball player. Now she's turned mom and she done found something that's a passion. Let her be selfish because she's taking care of everything else and everybody else. These women are doing something because they love the sport. They have a passion for it, and it's them. It doesn't make them who they are, but it's a big part of just having their own identity instead of just being a mom and a sister and an aunt and a cousin like anybody else would want. I've gotten, shouldn't you be in the kitchen cooking for your kids? Yeah. What are you doing? I'm like, I would definitely be there, but my husband's a great cook. So I'm going to go, after I get off this football field, I'm going to go ahead and get me a plate of dinner. But the barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen mentality and where a woman's place should be is what needs to be eradicated in order for the respect that women are currently balancing their households and their jobs and playing football.
Do you ever get hecklers at the game talking that kind of stuff, or that's more like online people?
Those are the keyboard warriors.
Right.
Mostly. You get actually, there's a lot more respect face to face than there is online. And most of the times, I look at it and I'm like, oh, you're just trolling. I don't give it too much energy. And so please, by all means, say what you got to say. I might put a little laughing emoji.
I got to get to this topic. It's a sensitive topic, though.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
And because there's been this debate about men in women's sports, people who were born men in women's sports. Have you guys had to have that conversation yet? And if so, how do you feel about that?
So the WNFC has regulations against that. When I was physically playing football, I did play against a trans woman. And when you talk about the difference between women playing football and men playing football, they started out in Pee-wee and grew into the sport over the years. And I don't judge anybody by what your identity is. If that's how you feel more comfortable, that's on you. I don't have a heaven or hell to put you in. But as a safety aspect, your natural build as a man is more dense. If you can imagine a young lady that did transition, so she's playing football in the league, and she's about 5'8", 195, at the time I was 135, 45 pounds. I'm running against that. That's a linebacker coming to tackle me. It's enough that already cis-born females are big and stocky. Your chemical makeup, your physicality, your know-how, it does pose a health and safety risk.
So is that more to say
that is my only problem.
So just to piggyback on that, so basically with them trying to push that agenda on women's sports, they're really saying they don't care about the safety of women. Is that pretty much what we're?
Some women do feel that. Some women do feel that way. Some women do take on that stance. Like, you're not taking into consideration that I signed up to play women's football to play against other women. It is not off par for someone to think you don't care about my health because you're allowing this. It's big. It's a big controversial. It's a big controversial
thing. That's why I wanted
to
ask about it, because I personally, I am enjoying what I'm seeing in women's football, right?
Right.
But if you put in that element that I'm talking about, I'm not going to want to see that. So that's the part I'm trying to. I guess I'm trying to frame the question is,
and that goes for, when they take off when you take off a helmet, you're expecting women playing football. We build a league for women to play because little girls were told you're not supposed to play football. Now that there's an opportunity for women to play football, let women play football. So
it's the WNFC doesn't have or has particular rules against it, but there's other organizations that allow that.
And it's not one-sided. So it's the transition from male to female, and it's also transition female to male. If someone is doing the opposite transition and their testosterone levels are at a certain height, they're like, no, you cannot, you can no longer play. So it's both. It's not one-sided. It's both sides. It's on both. Changes your body's chemical makeup and your muscle structure and your strength. And now you're tackling people in a unnatural, uncontrolled manner. Not saying you can't live your truth, but everybody's not doing that. The whole league isn't doing it. So we can't make an exception because of who you are and what you want. We have to, be safe about it.
You got to keep it fair. I mean, that's the whole point.
Yeah. The fact that that's looked at as a discrimination more so than a safety thing is probably the one thing that bothers me the most. It's like we're not trying to discriminate against you.
Where do you draw the line between being inclusive and competitive fairness based on, the league itself? Like, where is the line? Is there
it's the goalpost keeps moving. The goalpost keeps moving. I have friends on throughout the LGBTQ community. Plus, it is a controversial thing. And right now you have to accept type of thing is what makes it difficult to even, for people to adjust to.
Do you think that they might move in that direction if maybe they had a different administration in the presidential side? So,
I would like to hope that the leagues keep their sovereignty, and if there's a space that is accepting of the trans community one way or the other, then that league is open to that. You play for that league. And for those who are less inclined to play in a league with that, you can play for this league. Where the issue comes in is you want to go to a place where you feel that there needs to be a change and they have to start accepting us because we should be able to be here when there's already a lane kind of created for you. That's where I'm like, I have a tough time accepting and supporting that narrative.
We are going to get some bite back for even recommending that there be a league, specifically a league of their own.
Right.
So
I mean, not even suggesting it. I mean, could that be a thing? Absolutely. But if there's already a league if there are already leagues that are accepting it, then go to that space and the words sound harsh, and I'm not trying to say, well, just go over there. But if there's a space for it, go and thrive. If there's a space that's not for it, be okay that this is just not a space for you.
Yeah, everything ain't for everybody. Yeah.
Right. And nobody is telling you that you are not allowed to play the sport. You're just in this space, and be okay with that. Not everybody speaks in a manner that they're trying to attack something or tell you that you're not allowed to do something. It's see things for what they are and say, this might not be the space for me. And I really want there to be an understanding across the board from anyone that's listening, that acceptance is real and everybody wants it in one shape, form, or fashion.
You take one side, they tell you you're being discriminatory. You take another side, they tell you you're being unsafe. So
yeah,
it's kind of like a no-win. You have options. You can go here. If you want to do that, you can do that. If you want to go here, you can do that. Do you guys do a Super Bowl where multiple leagues come together?
I do wholeheartedly wish we did a battle of the Beltway. You either the best or you're not. And the best compete against the best. The best will show up.
So how does somebody start a team?
You have to invest a certain amount. You have to fill out. There's a lot of paperwork to be filled out. Prodigy was started from former players of the Divas. They started another team. There was a lot of women that lived in between the Northern Virginia area and DC area. Now you have a team that's right here, and we create space for women that want to play, but they can't get to the next team.
And do they put out like an ad to get people to try out, or they just go search?
There's a national tryout day. All the teams have this one day that everybody has an opportunity to try out at their local team location. I'm in football all year round at this point. Championship game is in at the end of June. We take July off. Everybody licks their wounds, go get MRIs, X-rays, fix your body, heal up. I'm in the gym with my running backs, or trying to get them in and get them what I need to see from them coming into next season if they come back. We're on the field 2 days a week. Sometimes we try to do it 5 days a week to let as many people that can show up. It's a full-time job that I don't get paid for.
Oh, so you don't get paid anything to coach the team at all?
Nope.
Well, that's not right. So how do we change that? How do we change that
Same
part?
thing. If we get more people in the stands, show up to the games, you buy tickets online. So even if you can't make a physical game, you have online tickets. You can just purchase an online ticket and say you're donating. If you have an individual business, there's a sponsorship package. I don't reach out for sponsorships as a coach because I want it to go to the players. The goal is to get the players paid. If I could get paid to play or coach, I mean, who wouldn't like a little extra pocket change? And I have a passion for the game. I love the game. I love watching the aha moment. I love watching my running backs who were maybe unsure of themselves in the beginning when it finally clicks and they're just getting busy.
If just by chance there's an actual, like a serious sponsor watching or somebody who's interested in sponsoring, like what would be a pitch for why it's a good investment to invest in women's football?
You have a unique opportunity to pour into an elite group of women that sacrifice their time, their families, for something that they have a passion to do. Not because somebody asked them to do it, but because they feel it's part of who they are. In addition to that, you get to watch Smash Mouth football after the end of the Super Bowl, and you don't have to wait another second until the next football season comes up. So why not take a chance, invest in some women that are playing hard, smash mouth, unapologetic football, and watch what they can do.
Sports is sports, and there's going to be women's sports, men's sports, and they're going to be competitive. Football season ends, and then people act like there's nothing else to see, and there's a whole nother season happening right under their noses. Yeah,
I had DJ Academics come out for our game against Dallas. He came down to the field, and he was like, yo, this is crazy. You got a fan. You got a fan. And he shared it on his social media. So if you have a podcast, if you have a YouTube channel, find a city near you. Look up the WNFC. If anybody's out in Chicago, I'll be there this weekend. We play against Chicago Winds this weekend. Kickoff is at 6 p.m. You can stream it on Victory Plus. You can pull up to the field, and you won't be disappointed.
The sport is new at the pro level. How would you respond to like a young girl, who's trying to basically find her way through the ranks to get to that pro level with you guys? How do they get that good football IQ and they get themselves physically ready to be able to play pro football when they get to your level?
Honest, YouTube. Just kidding. No, they can actually go to a local team. We have a few young ladies that are 17 and will be turning 18 coming into the next season. And we allow them to come to our OTAs, come to our preseason, postseason workout, preseason workouts. We teach all of that, and learning what their bodies can do. Get in the gym and get in the gym with purpose. Make sure your cardio's up. Make sure you're watching football now and you're getting some sort of understanding of what you're looking at.
Is there a push to introduce this at the high school level?
No, because flag football is there. Why do they need girls full contact football if they have flag football? Can they? Why can't they have both?
I don't understand why you can't.
I think you and I have the same. We're both dumbfounded. Why can't we have both? If somebody showed up to a high school, you probably wouldn't be surprised at how many girls would actually sign up.
So as far as like sports on the way up too, because we're doing wishful thinking right now with high school, but are there any sports that translate well, like volleyball or anything, to the professional football realm?
My favorite translated players, former basketball players as tight ends or wide receivers and DBs. And I mean, shoot, we got linebackers too. As former basketball players,
basketball players, yeah. But
I think it's about
until you try. Basically,
you never know until you try. It's about heart. What I know for a fact, you cannot coach or teach heart. You either have the heart for it or you don't. Do you have that dog in you when you step on that field that you're going to actually use that controlled violent space and be violent?
Right.
In a constructive way.
Well,
and you have a helmet and pads on.
Yeah, violence in a constructive way.
You have helmet and pads on.
Right.
Hello. I mean, why not?
So do you guys deal with any overarching safety issues? They're always coming out with new rules for safety purposes, new helmets, new pad styles.
Your football helmet has to be, I believe it has to be it has to be brand new. If you do happen to get a helmet passed down to you, it has to be reconditioned. Not extremely particular about the shoulder pads because you got to imagine all chest sizes are not created equal. We can't wear Battle and Under Armour and Nike because it's a conflict of interest. So everyone has to wear Adidas cleats and anything outward facing for the league during game time and during the season. You get fined and penalized as an individual or as a team for a player stepping on the field with Nike cleats on or Under Armour cleats on. The women that are playing now are paving the way for the women that are going to be playing in the next 5 to 10 years. Right. God willing, the sport continues to grow, and the teams continue to get the investments that they need. The next generation of young girls will possibly get paid to play football.
Is the league subsidized at all by the NFL?
That I don't know if there's any subsidization. If there is, I'm not aware of it. If it was a thing where we were subsidized by the league and local teams, we would be able to play at Audi Stadium, right? We would be able to share the stadium. There is a bit of competition there, but having a field with the same medical, physical therapy, physical trainers, and recovery locker rooms and a field to play on that we could call home would be a huge selling point. A lot of teams are fighting for high school stadiums to play in, high school fields to play in, and that's an additional cost. It's not just we want them to get paid, yes, but we want a space for them to be at so we can draw in the crowd. We don't get paid if we don't have the viewership, we don't have the participation and people showing up in person or buying tickets online.
You got 16 teams in the league, so you got 15 games, or do you play each team twice?
6 regular season games, and then two playoff games, and then the 1 championship game. So it ends up being 8 games, 9 games. We flip flop who travels, who's the home game, who's the away game. It's broken down to National and American League. Like it's same brackets that the NFL breaks it down in.
What do you think would be the best way to make women's football more recognized nationally?
Having individuals like you that say, you know what, I just found out about this. This conversation needs to happen more. Having people that do have resources to broadcast, to come out and do so. The buy-in from, NFL players that don't have anything to do on the weekends. If they're free, pop up to a game, go live, post about it, talk about it. Getting on the radio more frequently, announcing those things, getting TV ads put out there about the games on ESPN2, or the next level being mainstream on ESPN, like go to the big dog itself. National TV presence, local TV presence, multiple players getting on podcasts, introducing new segments, things like that. Let's make it bigger. Let's grow it. We show up to all the other sporting league events. It's the reciprocity within the women's sports to be able to show up and do the same thing. We're
so used to everybody putting a bunch of money behind men's sports, but I haven't seen them really put the true funding, true promotion behind women's sports. The other regular football, they talk about that all the time. So I don't really, it's not as interesting as something new. So this is new. Right. Yeah, this is new. I covered so much. We even got into the gender debate, which I was a little scared of, because YouTube is interesting about that debate. They don't really like people talking about it. So
they don't. Which is, you getting the right, you have to find the right recipe to discuss it. the words that come out of your mouth and how you deliver them and what you're trying to convey to people listening is all that matters. Plenty of times have I, gotten, you're too pretty to play football. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, am I supposed to, I know I'm saying women's football, but when you say too pretty to play football, tell me what a football player looks like to you, because I could line up my whole team and there's nothing ugly around here. There's everybody top tier. Everybody look good playing on this field.
I wasn't going to say it. I wasn't going to say it.
No,
I'm trying to look. Y'all got some lookers on the field.
I'll say it myself. They're double caked up on a good Lord Saturday. The women are athletes. They are built like athletes. We have track runners. We have power lifters. We got firefighters, police officers, teachers. You name it, they take care of their bodies because they are athletes.
Yes. I'm trying not to be creepy, but people know football pants are tight.
Are you kidding me? Do you know the reason why most women watch football is because they do the zoom in? Let's be honest. It's sexualized either way. It is not, it ain't, it's sexualized either ways. If that's what brings you to the game, if you want to just watch cakes on the sideline, at least you bought a ticket and you're watching something.
Yeah, you're watching.
And maybe you'll actually like football.
If that's what you're there to see, you'll see that too. Is what I'm.
You'll see that too. You can see football and cake.
Yeah.
There are a lot more people starting to cover women's football that have pretty good following. Ham Sandwich, he's been a fan not 1 but 2 years. Wallace Barron followed me throughout my whole career. I got pictures to last me a lifetime of my football career. And so, anytime you want me to hop up here, I can.
Yeah, we're gonna do it again.
Get a couple of players. Yeah.
After probably in a month from now, I'm looking forward to it, and I definitely have to thank you for coming on to the show tonight. This was a different show than what most folks would be used to, but I think it's very important to have real conversations about real things. So I thank you so much for coming on.
Please follow Washington Prodigy at Washington Prodigy on Instagram. You can follow them on Facebook. They also have TikTok if you're a TikTok person. YouTube. You can follow me if you'd like. It's Christiana Monique on social media on Instagram, XIANA. I post regularly about Prodigy, and I will tap in if you're looking to play football. Feel free to reach out to myself, and you can also reach out to the Prodigy Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, and I can get you a game day schedule. I can get you in front of the right people if you're interested in playing ball, or if you're just interested to come see the game. All
right. Yeah, and also you can check out at WNFC Football on YouTube as well.
Yes, at WNFC Football as well. We are the Washington Prodigy, and we can show you better than we can tell you.
I want to be more involved because I want to find out how I can make a connection, even myself, with the local teams close to where I live. Maybe I can cover their stuff as well. And really just make it, maybe once a week I do a highlight reel, something like that, just because it's a new conversation and I like having conversations that people aren't having. So that's really what I'm hoping to gain, is just that people start talking about something they're not already talking about, that the media is not pushing a narrative on. This is authentic talk. If you're curious, you're authentically curious. It's not because somebody's trying to push a particular propaganda or they're showing you 1,000 ads. It's like, no, I'm interested because I heard some information and it made me want to know more. I can't ask for more. Just a couple of eyes and a few voices to say the same thing later to somebody. Hey, I saw this thing and they were talking about women's football, and before you know it, we might have some high school girls or whomever actually interested in the sport. We might be able to get it moved into high school and things like that, because there should be some alternatives for women's sports earlier in life. That's other than gymnastics. And I'm thank you. Really behind it. I really am supportive I will do my best to support financially from my location, but I will do the same to try to, get in good with the folks that are down here. So,
okay.
With that being said,
you got me anytime you need me.
Yeah, I'm interested to see you guys grow. I think it'll be a great thing for sports. That's
truly
just my
appreciate
opinion,
it.
though.
Truly appreciate it. It's always good to gain a new fan. We appreciate it very much.
So, much respect to you. Much respect to the Washington Prodigy, and just seriously keep doing what you're doing. I must first thank Coach Floyd, aka Coach Reds, or Red, from the Washington Prodigy for coming on here, because she didn't have to do that. I almost forgot to thank you for that. Okay, and
appreciate it.
With that, if I wouldn't have thanked you, that would have been the bullshit. We're just going to say peace, and we'll see you guys on Thursday. Out of here.